This free step-by-step video comes to you directly from Haynes. You can complete more than 200 jobs on this vehicle when you purchase the complete Haynes online manual at haynes.com.
Note, a ball joint separator tool will be required for this operation, a new drive shaft retaining nut, an inner CV joint gaiter retaining clip will be required for refitting. Loosen the relevant front wheel bolts, then jack up the front of the car and support it on axle stands. Remove the appropriate road wheel. Drain the gearbox oil. Wipe clean the area around the filler stroke level and drain plugs, which are on the front and bottom of the gearbox. Using an Allen key, unscrew the filler stroke level plug located on the front of the gearbox and clean it. Position a suitable container beneath the gearbox, then use the Allen key to unscrew the drain plug located on the bottom rear of the gearbox. Allow the oil to completely drain. Wipe clean the drain plug, then refit and tighten it to 18 Newton meters. If removing the right-hand drive shaft, undo the fasteners and remove the wheel arch lower splash shield. Using a hammer and chisel or similar tool, tap up the staking securing the drive shaft retaining nut in position. The front wheel hub must be held stationary in order to loosen the drive shaft nut. Ideally, the hub should be held by a suitable tool bolted into place using 2 of the road wheel bolts. This can be fabricated from 2 lengths of steel strip, one long, one short, and a nut and bolt. The nut and bolt forming a pivot of the fork tool. Alternatively, have an assistant firmly apply the foot brake to prevent the hub from rotating. Using a socket and extension bar, slacken and remove the drive shaft retaining nut. Warning: the nut is extremely tight. Discard the nut, a new one must be used on refitting. Unclip the brake hose and the ABS wiring from the strut assembly. Unscrew the nut securing the track rod end to the swivel hub. Release the track rod end tapered shank using a ball joint separator tool. Unscrew the 2 nuts and remove the bolts securing the base of the suspension strut to the top of the hub carrier. Discard these as new bolts and nuts will be required. Pull the swivel hub outward at the top and withdraw the driveshaft outer constant velocity joint from the hub assembly. If necessary, the joint can be tapped out of the hub using a soft-faced mallet. Support the end of the driveshaft. Do not allow the end of the driveshaft to hang down, as this will strain the joint components and gaiters. Take care not to strain the ABS wheel speed sensor wiring. Insert a lever between the inner joint and the differential casing and force the driveshaft from the differential. Force the right-hand inner driveshaft joint from the transmission using a 70mm exhaust clamp. With the clamp between the joint and the casing, tighten the nuts and the joint will be forced out. Support the swivel hub while the driveshaft is removed. Renew the inner CV joint gaiter retaining clip to the new driveshaft if one was not already renewed. Engage the inner joint with a differential. Double check that the inner joint was engaged fully in the transmission by grasping the inner joint housing and attempting to pull outward. Insert the outer CV joint into the hub. Screw on the new driveshaft retaining nut, but do not tighten at this stage. Refit the suspension strut to swivel hub bolts and nuts. Tighten the nuts to 115 Newton meters and then angle tighten them a further 45 degrees. Engage the track rod end with the swivel hub. Fit the new retaining nut and tighten it to 40 Newton meters. Secure the brake hose and the ABS wiring to the bracket, along with any hose retaining clips. Using the method employed on removal to prevent rotation of the hub, tighten the driveshaft retaining nut to 70 Newton meters, then angle tighten it a further 55 degrees. Secure the nut by tapping the staking into the two grooves in the end of the CV joint using a hammer and a chisel. Where applicable, refit the wheel arch lower splash shield. Refit the appropriate road wheel. Lower the car to the ground. Tighten the road wheel bolts to 120 Newton meters. Fill the gearbox with the correct grade and quantity of oil until the gearbox oil level is correct. Fill the gearbox until oil starts to flow out and allow excess oil to drain out completely. The oil level should be up to the lower edge of the filler/level plug aperture. Refit and tighten the filler/level plug to 25 Newton meters.